So I just finished watching Superman and Lois. So these are some fresh thoughts, actually. We're going to go over ratings too, but I wanted to give my thoughts on this show, and I liked it. I did like the show. I was actually surprised because I'm going to be honest. I sat down to watch this show thinking, oh, okay, well, this is the same company that made Batwoman what it is and Supergirl. This is going to be a disaster. And it was actually pretty good. This is only the first episode, but I liked what I saw. You can say, yes, there wasn't a lot of Superman, but it's kind of setting up a little bit of a different Superman than I think most people are used to. This show is obviously, in my opinion, taking a lot from Superman Rebirth and a little bit of Super Sons. So, obviously, it's not a big spoiler. Superman has 2 kids in this. He's also married to Lois. In Rebirth, he only had 1 kid, and that was John Kent. And it was about Superman and Superboy and him having a family, which is what this show is going to do. It's going to be Superman family life, which actually, it depends on how well they write this, but it works. Super Sons was Superboy and Robin. Robin didn't have any powers. Obviously, they can't use Robin in the show, and I think that's why we have a kid with powers and one with not, like one that doesn't. So I'm kind of curious to how this season plays out. I did like it. Didn't see really any woke nonsense, which is crazy because Batwoman, that show runs on woke, and the difference between this show and Batwoman is night and day. This is actually, so far, a pretty good show. I did pull up this picture here of the classic Superman suit because I thought this was cool. This is the only time you see it. He has a more modern Superman suit later on in the show, but I thought this was really cool. It's a nice nod right at the beginning. I liked the show quite a bit. I really did. I'm hoping that it keeps getting good. I hope it stays good. That would be a first, but for the most part, yeah, I liked it quite a bit. So why can't the CW do this more? Now, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself because the show just started. This could be a very disastrous series. But I'm going to show you something that makes me think that it's not going to be a disaster. Check this out. I almost forgot about this until it was posted under my Twitter post here. I posted this because I was watching it and I was like, wow, this is actually a pretty decent show. And at Cyberdeath Ninja posted this, and I thought back to this like, maybe something changed at the culture in the CW, or somebody said, we're not going to have any of this. Apparently, a writer was let go from the project for essentially proposing woke talking points into the show. I guess they're getting tired of losing their audience before the show airs. And this is 100% true. I remember this when this happened. So this woman actually got fired from the writer's room. And she wanted to put in a bunch of woke tests, like the Bechdel test. Wanted to make sure that the screenplay or the script followed this. Wanted to put in all of this stuff in here and say, oh, it needs to revolve around Me Too and all of this stuff. She got fired, which makes me wonder, maybe they really are going to try to keep their audience for this one. And if so, hey, finally you learned. Finally you learned. Hey, maybe a little bit less of this and a little bit more of this. Because I got to say, like, Superman and Lois to me was a delight. Now, maybe it's because my expectations were so low, which is for sure possible. But for the most part, I liked it. They've gotten rid of bad writers. However, though, it's so funny to me. You have Batwoman, which is the polar opposite show, by the way. This show is continuing to just get worse and worse. Okay, each episode is worse than the last one. And the ratings are reflecting it. So let's go ahead and just get into that, talk about the ratings. Superman and Lois ratings were high. Very, very good. 1.71 million watched the show. Very, very good. It delivered. It's one of their highest debuts ever. And yeah, I mean, no one. I wasn't shocked because come on, it's Superman. Why can't we have a Batman show too? By the way, I would love to see that. We're never gonna get that though for some reason. But Superman and Lois was good. Those are some fantastic ratings. And I got to be honest, I was a little bit shocked by it because the CW's name has been ran through the mud so much over the past 2 years because of Supergirl and Batwoman, but this show picked it back up. And Batwoman's ratings, I didn't make a video on this yesterday, but they got adjusted. They were low yesterday. They went even lower. They dropped under 500,000. It's bad. So the show debuted at 659,000. Then it's episode 2, 621, 708, 509, 493. The show is literally get woke, go broke. And I wonder why that is. Maybe people aren't looking for shows that don't have any plot or story. The show literally runs on intersectional feminism and nonsense. That's all it runs on. I mean, look at this interview right here. Batwoman star and boss discusses how the BLM protests inspired season 2. I don't think people are looking for that. Okay? People are tired of this stuff. People don't want this in entertainment. And it's never been more clear than when you look at the ratings for this show, which had none of it, and focused on family and stuff like that. This is like, for the most part, it's actually a pretty wholesome show, but Superman's kind of a wholesome comic book in my opinion. But it did a lot of things right. And I was surprised. And look, people tuned in for it. And I bet you anything, next week when episode 2 airs, it's going to retain most of that audience. I think it's going to retain it. I could be wrong, but I think a lot of people probably will have liked what they watched, and it's going to keep most of that ratings. Because this is a show everyone in the family can sit down and watch, to be honest. I think there's something there for everybody. Whereas when people watch Batwoman, they want to bang their head against the wall because the show is so bad. Like, I have to take like 30 breaks when I watch one episode of that show to keep up with it because I talk about the ratings. Well, I watched Superman and Lois in pretty much one sitting. I had to take a little bit of a break to take the dogs out, but for the most part, I was really into it and liking it. But then you see shit like this, and you're not surprised. These ratings are going to continue to drop, and what's even more entertaining about this is that they've renewed the series for a 3rd season already, and we're going to really get to see these ratings drop because they're not going to go up. These ratings are already worse than the canceled Supergirl's ratings. So, how, like heel versus babyface's title for his video, how low can they go? We'll see what happens, but here's an example of giving people what they want. Here's an example of giving people what they don't want. And it has nothing to do with the actress. The show was woke last season, and it's still woke now. It's a terrible show. It was terrible last year. The music is bad. The writing is terrible. And there was some bad writing in Superman and Lois too. Like when the 2 kids are in the barn and they're... First off, why is the internet router in the barn? What is that? Why wouldn't you have it in the house? Like, that doesn't even make any sense. I don't even know if you would get a signal in the house with that thing being in the barn. But... it's not a perfect show, but I got to tell you, it is night and days above Batwoman. Night and day above Batwoman. It's such a better show. And like I said, maybe that's because my expectations were really low, but it reminded me a lot of Superman Rebirth, which was Superman and his family living on the farm. And if it's going to go down that road, I'm kind of excited for it. So we'll see. So far, I like what I saw. I'm hoping it stays good. Batwoman continues to spiral down the toilet. And, this is such a great example for a company to sit down and look and say, look, maybe the Twitter mob isn't going to really support our show. Maybe if we're really trying to capture comic book fans with these shows, we should do something a little bit better. make something a little bit better. So anyway, that's it, guys. Let me know what you think. What did you think about the show if you watched it? Also, what do you think about Batwoman's ratings? Also, please subscribe. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that notification bell so you can be notified when my videos go up. Throw a like up, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Oh, and share the video. Peace. Also, if you want to help support the channel, check out my Teespring store. There's a link in the description. You can find some merchandise in there that you might want to check out.